Hi, everybody. It's Friday, September the 25th. September's flying away, right? Couple more days of rain, guys. Hang in there. And then Sunday on, it's going to be a great week next week in terms of sunny. And I think like almost like 78 or 79 by Wednesday. So hang in there. Just a couple more days of rain. No, we had a, you know, but you got to admit it. We've had a pretty nice summer, all the way up until we had the smoke a couple weeks ago, and it kind of cut this summer short. Anyway, let's start our daily broadcast by going to our PowerPoint slides. Here we go. Friday, September 25th. I was show you the forecast. So you always know what's happening. Again, 2 more days of rain. Today it's going to be raining, about 0.31 inches of rain. And tomorrow it's going to be showers. So it's going to kind of lighten off. And then look at next week. Beautiful. No rain. Look, no rain in sight. 70s and again 79 by Wednesday. That's going to be nice. It's almost going to feel like summer. Not bad for the last day of September. And then we're going to start October with some pretty great temperatures. I'll take 76 any day. Okay, I know you guys don't like to see. So the next few slides, if you don't like polls, then you're going to just fast forward through the next two slides. But I'm sorry. Polls, there are bases for polls. And I know they weren't quite accurate in 2016, but most of the time they're pretty accurate. Here is a forecasting model that the Economist has been using for decades. Okay, and they're pretty damn accurate. Right now, if you look at this is actually as of like 4 hours ago, so they actually update these polls on a daily basis. Um, and so the chance of Joe Biden winning the Electoral College is 6 out of 7, or 85%, and Donald Trump 1 out of 7. Now, interesting too, right? So Trump definitely has a chance in the Electoral College, but if you look at winning the popular vote, he ain't gonna ever win the popular. Look at that. Biden has a 97% chance of winning the popular vote, or 19 out of 20, and Trump has a 3% chance. And that's why Trump is all about not counting the ballots. No, that's why he talks about no mail-in ballots. It's crooked. You know, they deal with voter suppression. They deal with not allowing mail-in ballots. He keeps on saying it's corrupt. There's a lot of corruption involved. There's a lot of illegal votes. Blah blah blah. He's doing that because he knows, and the Republicans know, if everyone votes in this country, they lose. If everyone votes in this country, the Republicans will never, ever, ever win a national election. And just so you know, there's a number of states that have basically passed a law that said that their electoral college votes will go with the winner of the national popular vote. And we're up to like, I think 200 electoral votes. So I think we need another 70 electoral votes, states that are equivalent to 7 electoral votes, to basically do away with the electoral college. So that's a way to circumvent the electoral college. So all the states are basically saying, we believe the popular vote should elect our president. So our electoral college votes will go to the winner of the popular vote of the nationwide US vote. So that's one way to get rid of electoral college. And like I said, up to about 200 electoral votes, states have passed this law. And so we need 70 more. So it may be possible in the next few years for that to happen before the next election. So keep our fingers crossed. Here is the chances. Again, estimated electoral votes. Again, Biden is estimated to have 330 at this point. Again, they update this every day. So you can see this is as of yesterday. And again, this is going to be tracked on a daily basis. In fact, see that 330 electoral votes to 208. And let me tell you my prediction. Here's my prediction. So here's a website that you can actually click on the different states. And so I'm a little bit light. I'm a little bit more. So I predict 334 to Trump at 203. And I'll kind of go through my logic too, and you can come to your own conclusion as well. Here is the current polls. These are kind of the average of the polls, okay? So this is not one poll or the other polls. And this is based on Real Clear Politics and 538. Actually, the date should be 925. It's just this morning I did this a couple hours ago. So as you can see, Biden Harris is leading in every swing state. Not a lot in some swing states, I'll be honest with you, but definitely they are winning in every swing state. And actually, they're very close. And even things like in Iowa, Trump, he won that state by 20 points. He's only winning by less than 1% over Biden. And Texas, Trump won Texas by like 20 points in 2016. He's only winning by 2 percentage points over Biden. So that's why Trump is nervous as hell. And his advisors are telling him too. And he always says fake polls, fake polls. In fact, he fired his first campaign manager because he was telling him about the polls, and Trump didn't believe him. Arizona, Biden's leading, not by a lot, by 3.8%. Nevada, almost 7%. In Colorado, which is really turning into more of a blue state, it used to be kind of a purple state. Biden is leading by about almost 10 percentage points. Wisconsin, key battleground state, 6.5. Michigan, 7 points. Pennsylvania, not as comfortable, 4.7. Again, those are the three states that Trump won and beat Hillary Clinton: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Again, in 2016, Trump won those states by about 68,000 votes, or actually 70,000 votes. And those states are going to Biden right now. So that's huge news. A little bit, Biden's just barely beating Trump. You can call it a tie in Ohio. New Hampshire, again, a pretty good lead, 6.7. A very narrow lead in North Carolina. And then obviously the very key state of Florida. We don't need it to win these other states, but it'd be kind of great to get Florida. But right now, Biden has a really slim lead of 1.6% over Trump. And then in Georgia, a state that Trump won by about 15 points or so in 2016, he has a bare, just a little bit over 1 percentage point over Biden, which is, I mean, if you look at Georgia, Texas, and Iowa, and the slim leads that Trump has it, that's why Trump is nervous. He can't even win in the red states. Okay, now let's cover the Senate seats. The Democrats need 5 seats to regain majority and kick Mocow Mitch to the curb. The reason why we need 5 versus 4 is because we're probably going to lose. We are going to lose when I say probably. We're going to lose Alabama. So you see Alabama, we have our current incumbent, Doug Jones, is there because Jeff Sessions became Attorney General. And so Doug Jones kind of won that particular temporary seat. Tommy Tuberville is the former Auburn head coach. So he's very popular from a viewpoint in the state. And so he's just leading on his, he's a Trumper, and because he's very popular in the state. So he's leading by 17 points over Doug Jones. We're going to lose that seat for sure. So that's why we need 5 seats versus 4. But we're looking really good. We'll walk from west to east. You can see that we have Mark Kelly with the commanding lead over the incumbent, Martha McSally. We're maintaining our lead, Jackie Rosen, over Dean Heller. She's an incumbent in Nevada. Here's another seat that will flip. John Hickenlooper, former very popular governor in Colorado. He's leading incumbent Cory Gardner by 7. The Montana one is very tight. Steve Bullock is their current very popular Democratic governor. He's just behind, and you can call that a tie almost, but Steve Daines leading by 1 poll by 1 point. Here's another pickup. The Democrat Teresa Greenfield is leading by 3 points over incumbent Joni Ernst. Iowa's a very interesting state. It's kind of I would say it's not a true red state. There's some purple involved in there. And so let's go ahead and move. And then we have Kansas. Barbara Boiler is tied with Roger Marshall. That's there's no incumbent in that particular. I think there was retirement, by my understanding. So then go to the East Coast. In Maine, our favorite Susan Collins, who we don't like, due to the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. So Democrat Sarah Gideon has a pretty good lead, 7 points over Susan Collins. And I believe that seat is definitely going to be the Democrat side. In North Carolina, another flip on Cal Cunningham, the Democrat who's prominent in their state legislature. He's leading by 6 points over the incumbent Tom Tillis. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but Lindsey Graham, bless his heart. He is tied with Democrat Jamie Harrison. And then in Georgia, because of retirement, there are 2 Senate seats up for election. John Ossoff is tied with the incumbent David Perdue, and one poll had the Reverend Raphael Warnock with a 4-point lead over Kelly Loeffler. And then, unfortunately, in Kentucky, the latest polls, I think Mitch is, I don't know, a lot of people don't like Mitch in Kentucky, but somehow he is leading still over the Navy fighter pilot Amy McGrath in Kentucky. This is disturbing. I know that one thing, again, like I said before, Trump knows if all the votes are counted, he will lose. And so basically he's trying to come up with alternative ways to win. And this is a very sobering article. Everyone should read this. The Atlantic article, this election could break America. It talks about all the things that Trump is trying to do to circumvent the vote. And this is a great, this is a piece by Barton Gellman, and this is an interview with Barton Gellman that was done on MSNBC's Morning Joe yesterday.
Staff writer at The Atlantic, Barton Gellman, whose latest piece for the magazine is entitled "The Election That Could Break America." Also with us, professor of government at Dartmouth College, Brendan Nyhan. Very good to have you both on board this morning.
So, Barton, let me ask you about your report that Trump will first claim victory before mail ballots are tabulated and then prevail in Republican-controlled state legislatures to appoint their state's electoral college votes to Trump, circumventing the votes altogether. That is how, that's your chief concern. Talk about how that would happen.
We're used to the idea that we cast votes and then the popular vote winner in a state gets that state's electoral votes. But the Constitution doesn't say it has to be that way. Trump and his people are aware of this. The state legislature has the power, according to the Supreme Court, to seize back from the people the decision over who the electors will be. And Trump's people are talking about a strategy in which they would go to the legislatures in some of the 6 swing states that are controlled by Republicans in the legislature in both chambers and say, you should reject the vote count because it's corrupt, because it's rigged, because it's filled with fraud. And you should therefore appoint electors that would be Trump electors, regardless of the vote, just to cast aside the vote.
So let's be clear here that in the swing states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, you have Democratic governors, but you have Republican legislatures there. You have Republican legislatures in Ohio and Florida as well. Are you saying that Donald Trump's campaign and his lawyers are talking to some in those legislatures and telling them to overthrow the will of the voters in those states?
Well, I know that they've had that conversation with the head of the Republican Party in Pennsylvania, who told me so. And I know that the Pennsylvania Senate Majority Leader and Speaker of the House are aware of this talk and have talked among themselves about the possibility. Trump is running a campaign premised on the idea that he can't win enough votes if all the votes are counted, and that he has to change venues. He has to change to a different way of counting. And the thing about a presidential election is that it depends on the concession of the loser. If the loser won't concede, and in particular, if the incumbent won't concede, he's got a bunch of different reps that he can work. There's no single umpire with the ability to say, okay, the game's over, we've called it, score. The American system isn't built a single efficient umpire that way.
So let me ask, that seems to me, we've already had a Supreme Court ruling earlier this year on electors that didn't follow the will of their of the people in their states. Would it then go to the Supreme Court of the United States to force the state legislatures to follow the will of the people in their states?
They were different kinds of cases, and it's not necessarily the courts that this would go to. It would probably go to the court as well. But the Electoral Count Act, which was passed after the only other time in American history that we've had a debacle like this, with possibility of multiple competing slates of electors, where two different groups of people said, I'm the elector for the state of Pennsylvania, for example. It's supposed to go to Congress. Congress is supposed to decide who are the legitimate electors, if any, from that state. And the problem is that the Electoral Count Act is one of the most garbled and indecipherable statutes ever passed by Congress, which is saying a lot. And there are a number of scenarios, likely scenarios, if you still have a split of control between the House and the Senate, in which Congress can't make the decision, in which you have both sides deadlocked. They sort of checkmate each other on who are going to be the people who cast the votes from, in this case, Pennsylvania. And the problem is that when you have chaos going on for a long time, which is Trump's strategy here, then as time passes, the president, the person who's got the troops under his command and has the apparatus of the federal government at his command, is going to take advantage of that deadlock and stay in power.
Wow, that's sobering. So that means we have to do everything we can to make this a landslide election, which it very well could be. I mean, if you look at the map that I showed you earlier, it could definitely be a landslide victory, especially, for example, if we can take Texas and Georgia and Iowa, that would make it a landslide. If we're going to make it a landslide, there's no way he can try to cheat his way out. But people said he'll probably figure out a way. Yeah, of course he'll try to figure out a way, but it's going to be tough. And it's going to be tough for people to kind of support this. It'd be tough to get all the Republican congressmen to support him if it's a landslide election. So more people. Here was a letter, an open letter to America that was published in the Washington Post 2 days ago. National security leaders for Biden. We are 489 retired generals, admirals, senior non-commissioned officers, ambassadors, and senior civilian national security officials supporting Joe Biden for president. It's a great letter. It goes through all the credentials and experience that Biden has, and all the lack of leadership and the lack of experience that our current president Trump has. It's a very good letter. It's very sobering in terms of seeing all these people that are basically saying that Trump is incompetent. Okay, I want to show you just a quick, probably less than 5 minutes. I won't show you the whole 5 minutes, but this is I know the protest happened 2 nights ago. This is 2 nights ago. I know it happened again last night on Capitol Hill, at our famous Capitol Hill, right around Canaston Park near the East Precinct, about 9 blocks, 10 blocks from where I live. But let's go ahead and give you, this is Converge Media. Amari is the owner of this. He's an African-American guy. He's been in the middle of all these protests ever since the George Floyd protests that happened in late May and into June, the creation of the CHOP zone. So we'll give you a sense of being right in the middle of the protest.
So I just got up here to Capitol Hill. We were downtown. They're giving an order to get out the street right now. So I just got up here to Capitol Hill. We were downtown at the other protest, which was a very peaceful protest down at the federal courthouse. Just arrived up here to Capitol Hill, and whoa. All right, watch my right. Yeah, here. It's the mace is out. Let me get the whatchamacallit. I need the gas mask. I need help with the gas mask. Get the gas mask out this bag for me. I need a gas mask out this bag. So This is we're right here on 11th and Pine. For people that's been knowing for a long time, you might recognize 11th and Pine. This is the same intersection, what we used to call the Western Barricade a while ago. I've just arrived up here right now.
Putting this back on you?
Yeah, put the backpack back on. I got the gas mask out. Like I said, I just got up here from.
I can hold that for you.
Hold that. Just got up here from the protest downtown, which was a very peaceful protest. Hold that for me. Jake,
They started gassing.
all right. So I got the mask on now, but we're here on 11th and Pine. You guys might remember we should call this the Western Barricade. Like I said, we just got up here, and basically as soon as we got up here, the police came out. There were protesters here at the intersection, and the police came out and pushed the protesters out of the intersection. So we've just arrived up here right now. Like I said, from downtown, the police, when we got here, like we were all just having a conversation, the police pushed the protesters out of the intersection. They pushed the protesters out of the intersection, and now SPD has formed a line here on 11th and Pine. Protesters over here to the west on Pine Street. The Seattle Police Department is right here on the east on Pine Street.
All cops are bastards!
There's been a push. There's a very big police presence here on Pine Street.
So that was a little glimpse of protest. I know that Amari's always in the middle of everything. In fact, 2 nights ago, it's interesting understanding the Seattle police tactics. They basically ended up chasing the protesters around Capitol Hill. It was kind of funny in a way. I shouldn't laugh, but they pushed the protesters to Broadway, and then they pushed them north on Broadway, and they pushed them. And then they made them go left on Denny, and then they made them go down on Harvard behind Seattle College, Central College. And they chased them around Pike and Pine, and it was kind of crazy. And they chased them all the way back down to where you see them here. They're back to Callinan Park, and that's when they kind of just dispersed. So I guess that's must be in police training in terms of tactical training is about how to disperse the crowd, make them walk all over Capitol Hill until they're tired, I guess. Oh, well, protests happened last night again. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any reports on it. I don't know if there was any violence, but maybe the same thing happened. They just chased them around Capitol Hill. So exercise for the protesters, exercise for the police department. This is funny. Bless his heart. That's what they say in the South when you say you're asshole. Lindsey Graham says he's getting killed in the campaign cash because his foes hate my guts. Of course they do, because you go against your word. You said, hey, in the last year of a presidential term, they shouldn't be allowed to nominate a new Supreme Court justice. He said that in 2016. He said that in 2018. He said, you can record this, and you can come back and tell me that I said this. And of course we are. And so he's a hypocrite. He's a liar. Well, his opponent, Democrat Jamie Harrison, has turned the race in South Carolina into a national campaign. He's raising money throughout the U.S. In fact, I've given him not a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. I'm unemployed. I've given him about $30 over the course of the last several months. He has raised a lot of money. In fact, it was reported that Harrison raised about $9 million in the 72 hours after the death of Justice RBG last week. That's a lot of money. The last public disclosure reports had Graham raising $29 million and Harrison $28, but Harrison raised a lot of that money from out of state. And the latest polls in the race have them tied. So this is, we want to show you this little crybaby. He was on Fox News. Lindsey Graham was on Fox News. Closeted Lindsey Graham, as you know, everyone knows. Everyone knows he's closeted. In fact, there's reports of him hiring male prostitutes in DC. And I won't get into the details, but they said he likes to scream. Anyway, he's a 62-year-old white guy from the South. He's never been married and has never been associated with a woman. So, what conclusions can you come to? So let me show you his little cry story to his friends at Fox News. So we'll give you that little clip.
My opponent will raise almost $100 million, Ainsley, in the state of South Carolina. The most money ever spent in the history of the state on a Senate race was by me in 2014 when I spent $13 million. He raised $6 million from the time Justice Ginsburg passed away within 72 hours. And God bless Justice Ginsburg. We're celebrating her life. I appreciate waiting to Saturday to announce the replacement. But I'm being killed financially. This money is because they hate my guts.
Well, Lindsey, yes, we do hate your guts. So that's the truth. Hey, you're not lying in that respect. We do hate your guts. That's why Jamie Harrison is raising a lot of money from everyone around the U.S. because we do hate your guts. Because you're a hypocrite. I wish you were the same way as you were when you were with your friend Senator John McCain, and you acted more like Senator John McCain. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Okay, we want to finish today's daily broadcast with a funny story. I want to try to do one of these every day. From the New York Post, we love the New York Post. Vietnamese factory busted for recycling hundreds of thousands of used condoms. Oh my God. So a factory in Vietnam was busted for washing, reselling 320,000 used condoms to try to pass them off as new. The owner had 1,000 of them delivered every month, used condoms. Oh, gross. She remolded the used condoms with a wooden shaft to make them look fresh again and place them in new packaging. And unfortunately, thousands have already been sold to unsuspecting customers. Oh my goodness. So here's my Ernie's tip for the day. When you buy a condom, look at the packaging, make sure they're not from Vietnam. Can't say that and tell you something positive today. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's daily broadcast. A lot of little things. Obviously, we want to make sure that you do everything to make sure that Biden Harris wins. We take the Senate, make sure Biden and Harris win in a landslide, so Trump can't damn cheat his way to a next 4 years. We cannot survive the next 4 years. The democracy would be destroyed. The U.S. would be destroyed. Anyway, have a great Friday and look forward to a great weekend. Again, 2 more days of rain, and then all next week is going to be sunny. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.